Today I want to talk to you about using your longevity ring as a tool for isometrics and some dynamic tension moves. So let's say you've already done some of your basic moves that you've learned from watching my videos with your longevity ring. We can also then start to work at a different level for the joints and the sinews by taking these and using them to create isometric tension. So isometric is when you push or pull against something that's immovable. All right, so, and if you want more details, you can look all over the internet. There's all kinds of information about isometrics. I'm going to show you the way I do it. So with the ring, for example, if we take it here, you see where my elbows are out to the side? If they were in here, it would give me a different connection. So depending on where my elbows are, if I push this together or attempt to pull it apart, it will work different muscle fibers, different fascial connections, and so on and so forth. So you get your sinews and your joints working differently. So don't do it in just one position, but let me show you the basics of an isometric move. So an isometric move is basically no move. What I mean by that is, if right here with my elbows out this time, I'm going to, keeping this in close to my chest, inhale, and then I'm going to start pulling, and I'm going to reach my maximum pull on this and just really pulling on this as hard as I possibly can. So I build up to that tension for about 4 seconds, hold it for 8 seconds, and then slowly release it for 4 seconds. So if you're doing this with me, you've already felt something happening, right? In through here, something in the back. Well, if we bring our elbows in closer, let's do the same thing. We're going to pull apart again. So inhale. Begin to increase your pull. Now, maximum. We hold that for about 8 seconds, 8, 10, 12 seconds. And then ease it up. And you will have felt it differently in these same areas. All right, now let's go back to the elbow out, and this time we're going to try and push the ring together. So inhale, and as you're exhaling, beginning to build your pressure until it's as much pressure as you can possibly generate. So we're really just contracting muscles, working the joints and sinews, and release. Okay. It would be the same if we had our elbows in, if we inhaled, and we would exhale as we start to put the pressure on. So you don't want to be holding your breath. You don't want any tension building up in your head. And slowly releasing. So you can do those sorts of isometric movements in any position. So let's take the one where we're inside. If I go to pull apart with my arms, with my hands inside, it totally changes where I'm going to be feeling the pull. And if I'm going to push, it's a very awkward and unusual position to be pushing with my palms facing this way. And for example, when I do that, I can feel it way down in the lower part of my lats, right? So you would do, again, the same 4, 8, 4. So 4 seconds building up the full strength, 8 seconds holding it, 4 seconds easing off on it. That's just a good baseline. So you could do that with a rotation. So here, if you know this movement from looking at my other videos, here I am with my rings, my ring turned with my wrists. Both my wrists are in flexion. So when I come up and I pull down in the back as far as I go, now I'm going to start to apply the isometric tension. So inhale, push. So I'm actually stabilizing that with my opposite hand. Charles Atlas called this more of a dynamic tension, because in theory, as I ease up now, I could actually move farther down. So we could call that a dynamic tension, or we could call it an isotonic. It's where isotonic allows some slight movement. All right. Now another way you could do it is, again, if you've been watching my videos at all with a longevity ring, you've seen me do this move. So we could do this move in its full extension and push the back hand down while holding it with the front hand. As hard as I can for full 8 seconds, and then ease up for 4 seconds and come back in. Change. Put the hand out. Again, this time I'm going to pull with this bottom hand, push with the opposite hand, and I've got this slight pressure, so it's a little bit more isotonic rather than isometric, and just release that. So any of the positions that you've seen me take with a ring, you can do that with. Another idea, holding the ring this way. You could even just hold it without gripping it with your thumbs. Just holding it at your middle finger and into your palm all the way to the palm heel. So you're holding it, we could hold it down and do our pressure. We could hold it facing forward and squeeze our pressure. And can you see how the ring wants to do that as I really apply that pressure? So I resist against that happening as well, right? I could bring it up in front. Again, this will give me different sensations. It will awaken different movements. Now, to make it truly a more dynamic tension type of move, we could hold it down here to start with. Inhale. Go ahead and maximize your pressure, and then allow your elbows to bend, come up. You could push over to one side, push over to the other side. Each aspect of the movement with all this tension is going to be working joints and sinews. So it's a wonderful way to add yet another dimension to your longevity ring play. And I will show a video one of these days soon where I go through all sorts of movements that you can do isometrically, isotonically, or with dynamic tension. So in the meantime, play, investigate, explore, experiment, modify, improvise, be creative. You are the guru.